Hi guys, welcome to Simproved, Fry speaking here, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build, and this time it's an aquarium that your Sims can visit, of course, without any CC as always. And it also will have two big tanks with even moving fishes in there, because yeah, I was crazy in debug mode, and I'm really happy that I found the moving fishes finally. So, I always wanted to build this aquarium, and since I never found the moving fishes, I was it's a bummer. I don't want to have like an aquarium that doesn't have like a large tank, for example. It doesn't make sense with only like small little aquariums in there. And there's also another thing, because this is also a seafood restaurant, because the SimGuru Kimmi, she is working for the Maxis team on The Sims 4, and she made a challenge called the Seafood Kimmi Dine Out Challenge or whatever. And she basically pre-built like a raw facade of a seafood restaurant, and we had to vamp it up a bit and make it functional and everything. So this is why there's like something already pre-built here. That's actually her seafood challenge restaurant, and then you can add stuff and make it work as a fully functional restaurant with the dine out pack, of course. It had to have the second and the third highest wall height, and I believe even like fish tank or something. I mean, there were like lots and lots of requirements, and I sadly have changed a lot on her build here, because the first thing I really wanted to accomplish is to make it look as an aquarium, not really like a restaurant maybe. But it's functioning, so it is like a restaurant, and since we don't have a community lot called an aquarium in The Sims 4, I think it makes sense to maybe declare it as a restaurant, of course, as well. So I guess I will disqualify it for the challenge, I guess, because I tore down like a lot of walls. Of course, I tried to keep the outer shell as intact as possible, but I know that I moved around a lot of windows and walls and like everything, so yeah, maybe I get disqualified. So the first thing I did is to add those ramp roofs that we already know from my art gallery build. And I tried to make it look as the Sydney Opera, I guess. Like, not so much as the Sydney Opera itself, but it has this really intricate design on the roof and everything. It has this organic shape which looks like little boats, and I wanted to do the same but with waves. So the roofs are basically waves or rounder shapes, like for the bubbles, like for air bubbles in the water. And I really wanted to make it look super modern, and like these kinds of builds would look like, because I've searched, of course, for some aquarium builds, and there are really, really beautiful ones out there, and there are even some with like a restaurant in there, and then in the restaurant you can sit next to the tanks and like look at these large tanks while you eat your seafood. And I always thought this is super cool. I would love to go there someday, but there's sadly nothing like it in Germany, I guess. There's one in Australia which really look cool. But I really, really loved that idea. So at first I was fiddling around with all the roofs and the layout, like the outer shell, I would say. And that took me about 2 hours, like lots and lots of time. So I will cut the video like heavily again. You already know the drift. And in the interior design, it took me also like a lot of time, I would say, to section it off. You won't see that here. Also, I had to experiment a lot with the moving fishes, of course. So how could I manage to build the moving fishes? So if you go into debug mode, which you can enter if you type in bb.show hidden objects, and then you have to type in the filter box for the objects like debug, for example, and there you get this wooden fishing signs that sometimes like stand around in the world in Sims 4, and there your Sims can go fishing. And if you chose these, you can put them like on the upper level of the aquarium, and then there will swim some fishes in there. Sadly, I couldn't manage to make them stay in their tanks sometimes, so 1 or 2 fishes will sometimes occasionally swim in the air here. I'm really sorry. But since this is a debug object, I really couldn't figure out how to contain them, I would say. It would have been like a really large tank then and only one, and I wanted to do 2 separate tanks with different decorations and all that stuff. And it took me a lot of time again. Also on the exterior, of course, I made some fountains, like some very, I would say, organical random shapes. And I decorated it heavily with these very modern waterfalls. I guess these are from Spa Day, and yeah, some of these balls, these little balls, and yeah, all that stuff. So I thought that would be really interesting because some of these aquariums are these kinds of sea centers where they nurse these fishes, for example. And I thought if the lot, of course, would have been bigger, I would have made some sunken-in tanks here. Also, I've built that in Windenburg. There, I guess it's a disco, like a nightclub that is there actually. And it's perfect because it's in the Bay Area, and I thought it would look really, really cool. In the inside, I placed these tanks before, and then I also had to look at the roofs because the trimmings of the roofs were like cutting into the walls, so I had to cover them with these really cool wall decor. I really can't explain how it looks like, but this has these wavy forms. It looks almost like a cave then, and super modern, so I will place them sporadically somewhere, create these little niches where your Sims can sit and then look, of course, at the tanks. And I will also place some of these normal aquariums that you have inside some wall corners. And I will place like a window there so it looks as if it's like into the wall and not like a separate little aquarium just standing there. And like this I could also manage to make it look really modern on the inside as well. The interior is mostly, of course, with light blue and lots of white because I wanted to make it look as clean as possible and modern as possible. Of course, there are 2 chef stations, so yeah, 2 host stations if you come in, of course. And outside there are 2 decks, and yeah, there will also be like some tables. And I chose I guess they're from the luxurious pack, but I'm not really sure. I will use these tables. They glitter a little bit and they looked a little bit like these water marbles or something that you would find maybe on the sea ground or something. And also upstairs there's a little separate room, of course, for a wedding maybe, or some kind of like very private ceremony or party you want to throw. That's the favorite space for the Sims to go there, at least when I tried to test this lot, or when I was testing the lot, all the Sims were like there and dining there. I guess they'll just love it. So yeah, that was like quite a lot of fun. Also there's a bar upstairs where your Sims can get a drink. And yeah, then there are these 2 tanks. So I placed the wooden fishing signs on this like 2nd floor and on the roof, so they swim in these 2 tanks. And if you want to see those fishes, you have to put all the wall heights up and go to the upper floor for the roofs and then use the camera, and then you can see the fishes swimming there. I will also include them, of course, in the screenshots, but they were a little bit camera shy, I guess. Also, you have to make sure that your visual effects are on at least medium or high if you want to see the swimming fishes here. That was something that I had to figure out because at first I wasn't seeing them and it was like, I don't know, where are they? And I found out this thing about the swimming fishes from Kai, and Kai has a YouTube channel as well, and she made a tutorial on this in Spanish, and I will link to her channel and this tutorial if you want to have moving fishes in your game, of course, as well. I will put that there because I think either way, if you don't know Spanish, I guess like the visual of the video will give you a hint and a clue about how this all works out and looks like. But yeah, this is basically it. So 1 tank is with these like Roman ruins a little bit, and one is more of a, I would say, I can't even explain it. But yeah, I guess you have to see if it works out or not. I hope that you like it, guys. Please stay tuned for the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!